whatever milestones that Black people make against hate, it ends up benefiting all the other people of color. I can't see what his end game is. The Republican Party is the party of racism, is the party of white supremacy, is the party of hate. This is wrong, and it needs to stop.
Everybody wants to go back and drag that piece of history up, but they don't want to go back and deal with what their ancestors did to the indigenous people and to Black people in this country. You got to go. And you got billionaires talking about going to space and Jeff Bezos. Go! Never come back. I hope you get lost. This man has lost his mind.
Boom! Come on, girlfriend. What is up, everybody? It's Dr. Vibe here, host and producer of the award-winning Dr. Vibe Show, the home of Epic Conversations, and I'm the host of Epic Conversations, 2020 Best Podcast News Award winner, 2018 Innovation Award winner given out by the Canadian Ethnic Media Association. I also co-host and co-produce the only online show in the world for dads and fathers that is sponsored by Dove Men Plus Care, and being part of that collaboration in 2022 and 2021, part of a team that reached out directly and indirectly to over 100,000 fathers around the world. As always, I like to say you're blessed, highly favored, a magnet for miracles, and a solution for someone's problem. And also, before we get everything started, if you can, subscribe to the Dr. Vibe Show on YouTube, and also hit the notification bell, like it on Facebook, wherever you're watching the Dr. Vibe Show. Please subscribe. It's appreciated, not taken for granted. So it's Sunday night. Usually we're here Saturday night with State of Things with Aisha, Jill, and LaLa. Plus, Aisha's not with us tonight, but Jill's here. And Aisha, not Aisha, LaLa is back. LaLa
Hello, everybody.
So what's going on, ladies? How we doing?
Nice, better.
I'm glad that you're better, Jill, because that COVID is no joke. People think it's going away, but it's not.
No, I mean, it hung around a little longer than I actually thought it would, because everybody I've been like, oh, it's nothing. It's just like a cold now. And it's not.
Yeah, but you still can hear it in your voice. It's going to take a while.
I think so. My husband has the brain fog stuff, which, hopefully, and that's a little bit disturbing.
Yes.
Yeah, it is in my voice. And I don't know what to say. It did catch me off guard a little bit. I had no idea that it was going to take me down like that.
Wow.
Had I known, I'd have still been washing my groceries.
Right.
I'm still.
We're getting a little comfortable now. That's what's
too
scary.
Comfortable.
Wow.
Damn.
Wow. That's crazy. And it's interesting, Jill, because I know some of the people that have gotten COVID recently, and it's not pretty.
No, I'm all vaxxed up, boosted, all of that.
Yeah.
But it just doesn't matter. I took the Paxlovid. I had a Paxlovid rebound, which, if people don't know, that is sort of a process where you do the 5 days. And I was like, this is a breeze. I'm going to get through this. And you're a little sick. You still feel the symptoms. You're like, okay. But you kind of get a reinfection, bang, that comes back. And because of my asthma, that was when I had to kind of pay a bit more attention, because I started to go, okay, what's going to happen next, So we had to bring in the reinforcements of the steroids and things.
Oh
like
my
that.
gosh.
Yeah. So if I start getting very puffy in the next couple of weeks, it's obviously steroids,
So how long have you had asthma for?
Oh gosh, I had asthma when I moved back to Los Angeles. Funny enough.
Interesting.
Which was about 10 years ago. I got it here. It's very common, apparently. It's one of the states with the highest, rates of asthma, especially out towards the San Gabriel Valley. Those districts. Yeah, it's very common. Really and then once Trump started deregulating everything across the United States, I think our numbers are flying off the charts because remember the EPA situation. So we really have we're flying without our underwear on, or no panties.
Yeah.
There's no drawers on,
Commando.
no agency in this. Yeah, we're commando.
Commando.
America's, all their regulation agencies, everything is commando. Absolutely, LaLa. You're
That's crazy. So,
right.
and Jill, before we went live, you were talking about your dealings with the health system. So, what are your thoughts about America's health system over the last few weeks, having to deal with it?
Horrifying. I literally had to deal with a pharmacist at Walgreens who was telling me that my plan that we pay a lot of money for didn't cover the drugs that my doctor was prescribing.
What?
And then she proceeded to tell me, when I kept, going through COVID, I'm like, what do you mean? And then she decided, well, I didn't pick your insurance. You did.
Oh my good. You're kidding.
She gave me a reason to live at that moment. I went, you know what? Let me tell you something. I got up. I was like, okay. So,
I take my earrings off.
yeah, I was like, really? Did you just what? Huh? No, you didn't. I mean, if I was sick then, it was I said, when I get better, you better. I was thinking, I'm gonna get up out of this bed. I will walk again. It was like, I couldn't believe it. So I couldn't. So we had some words, and of course, I did go through all of that. And then at one point, I said, "You don't know what you're doing. You have no clue what you are doing, B." I was like, "And let's hope you don't kill anybody this weekend."
Right.
I said, God only knows what else you've been prescribing or not prescribing, or Jesus. I was like, can you just go look? Is there an alternative? Like another? And she was, hold on. I was like, oh, this attitude, when I get better, we are,
Gosh. Jill, I can't transfer you money. I can't bail you out. I ain't bailing you out.
No, but it's crazy because Walgreens also stood by one of their employees that showed their on something not, long ago. So basically they lost a customer. I'm done with them.
Well,
it's okay.
Jill, here's what's interesting. I have a family member who's older, and they ordered their medicine. They went to go pick it up, and they gave him the wrong medicine.
Yeah. Whoa. When was
wrong medicine.
When was it?
This was in the last 2 weeks.
You know what's really interesting? So when my husband went, to go pick up that prescription because it had already been called in, finally got it sussed out. When he got there, there was a huge line, and people were like clamoring around, like going, what do you mean my insurance doesn't cover it? Their diabetic medicine, all of this stuff. And I think Walgreens was hacked or something happened, and they have not released the information to the public. You're proving to me that something really went down this week, and they've not told anybody, because that's really crazy. And you're telling me that too.
Because I have a list and I look and I said, whoa, this is not the same thing. It sounds like the same thing.
Oh my God. Thank God you looked.
Yeah. I mean, that could have been very detrimental.
But what's scary, LaLa, is that these young people rely so much on computers that when something, they don't have the aptitude or the cognition to understand, like, hey, wait a minute, there's something wrong going on here. Something's wonky. This woman has insurance and she and her husband get the same prescription, and they don't think ahead from what's in front of their nose. That's why, the old boomers and silent generation are like destroying everything before they check that out of here.
That's right.
Because these young people just go, well, it's not working. I don't know what's going on.
I know.
I didn't pick your insurance. You did. Like,
right. Like, they have a meltdown.
I was like, listen, C-word. Yeah, I did.
So LaLa, don't you miss Jill?
I do, because I needed all of this energy.
Sick and all.
Sick and all. Jill is fire, right?
Oh, but we miss LaLa.
Yes, we miss LaLa. We are glad to have you back, fam.
Yeah,
we're glad to have you back.
Thank you.
So good to have you back. And I see that. Well, we got a number of things to chat about, but one thing in particular has really drawn the ire. We're going to get to it in the little few moments, because I think that LaLa and Elon Musk are not buddies, and Mark Zuckerberg are not buddies. So we're just giving a little appetizer to something that's coming. Just get your blue checks ready. All right.
Yeah.
So
I know.
Get your blue checks
Not
ready.
the finger. Not the finger.
Oh gosh. Want to say hello to hey Jen. Hope
Hey,
you are
Jen.
doing fine. Hope you're doing fine. Wig Maniac, thank you for stopping by. Always a pleasure. And you know, everybody, keep the comments coming, keep it interactive. We're gonna have a lot of fun tonight. Aisha cannot be with us, but she said she may pop in and watch. But hey, we got two ladies here to rock and roll. So let's start our conversations. First up, Black farmers in Colorado are being targeted by white supremacists.
Yeah.
What is going on
What's
with
not going
this?
on? You know,
There's
these are good people. These
horrible
are
story,
good
right?
people who have helped the community, have done everything they need to do, and have a beautiful consciousness toward community and the world. And because these jealous want everything for themselves, just like it's always been in history, they are targeting this family.
Right. And I guess it's called El Paso County or something. The sheriffs
Mhm.
in that county are involved in it as well, because the neighbors, had them arrested for felony stalking. But what people don't realize is that they refused to sell their land.
That's right.
They had been approached and they refused to sell. And then their animals have been decapitated, their livestock,
Hold
their
on.
dogs.
They've done that to them?
Their
Yes.
dogs have been poisoned. I
Okay,
put a video on my Instagram that
and the
you can
farmers
see.
have been arrested. The farmers have been arrested.
Yes.
Yeah.
So on the
All because they won't be good little Negroes and
Right.
give their land up.
What's happening in this situation is very similar to what happened with when in America did white people burn down what black people had in
Well, you see,
Tulsa?
now Tulsa, and it's interesting. A number of people said anytime in American history, blacks have made progress, non-melanated people have found a way either to stop it or burn it down or kill.
They've been
Or
killing
drown it. I mean, let's face
Yes.
it, there's many stories, not just of burning, but of whole beautiful, thriving towns
Yeah.
being pushed with water, and they're still underneath water, underneath lakes, because they cannot stand us to have anything.
Right.
This has always been from the beginning, and it's not going to end. Come on, as long as it's taught behind closed doors, and now it's so free back out in the world again,
and these are situations that, really infuriate me, because this is when we need the mobilization of our black community. These are the times.
Leadership.
Not just to, push it to agriculture. And I could give two shits about a Grammy. I could give that needs to go away. I could give a shit about people in their anime dumb boots, or Sierra wearing her little clown shoes, and Kanye West pushing. Black people don't see themselves the way this was about when Harriet Tubman. There were the ones who were fine to just follow along and keep black people shopping with their consumerism. But it's like I said, I always thought Black Twitter is a tool of capitalism to keep black people down, to keep them pressed and focused on the wrong.
Oh, yeah.
Exactly, because they get all in
think
right. And then they want to, let's have them talk about their houses and their homes, and have them salivate for wealth. And then when you actually have farmers who are black farmers, have been going through a lot since COVID. They didn't get the money that the white farmers got.
Right.
And now you have basically the Ku Klux Klan got the band back together, literally, and they are going in and killing this man's livestock. And so we need to mobilize and help these people. Where's Jay-Z and everybody? Get these people some lawyers. Do something.
They're too busy buying sports teams. They're too busy buying sports teams. That's where they are.
No. They're not buying sports. They can't. They shouldn't. They should be. They should. They're not.
Well, they're not.
But the thing is, and it was interesting. The gentleman who I follow periodically on YouTube, he had a T-shirt the other day said, "Entertainers are not leaders."
No, they're not.
No, they're not.
But they can help to. It's like we had Martin Luther King in those days, and the entertainers knew what their role was, just to follow his lead and march and have a presence. Now we're in such a bad way that I think, where's Beyonce? She's from, give some money to these farmers. Let them help them find somebody to, protect them. But these people don't have a heart. There's something really wrong in our community. They are so busy shoving their products down our throat. Okay, and we need to help these people.
So Jill,
you can donate.
I'm going to throw something out there. Well, let's get our comments first, because the people are jumping in. Wigmaniac. Okay, let's say Regina. Hey, Regina saying it's like Queen Sugar.
It is, but it's in real life.
Yes.
Yeah.
And where's Oprah?
She's always saying, she also says, welcome back, LaLa. Good to see you.
Thank you.
And Cinema Canela says, hello there. Happy Sunday. I'm going to put something out here, coming back to the conversation. I don't think there's such a thing as a Black community. I think they're Black neighborhoods.
Thank you.
Yes,
I agree with you.
Right on target.
Yeah.
So especially when I hear this story, I'm just putting out there, where's the NAACP?
Where are they?
Where's the Congressional Black Caucus?
Because the only thing I get from those people is donate today. Right. And I'm not donating another daggone penny, because you're not doing your job.
Yeah, I gave up donating to any politicians, by the way. They'll never see another dime from me. Not one. It's like, you better huff and puff it. By hook or crook, get it yourself, because I did what I had to do in 2020 for that election. And Joe Biden goes and puts Merrick Garland in as a AG in the Federalist Society. And I will never recover from that. I will always be salty. And they didn't come in and flip those EPA rules like they needed to, because one of the reasons that's what's going on in Palestine, East Palestine, Ohio, is because Pete Buttigieg didn't think like, let me change that. You can travel with all these toxic chemicals. So miss me with any politician at this point for me giving to give my money to them. Well, no, thank you. Because it's really Dr. Vibe, I just want to say what I was talking to a girlfriend this week about in my sickness. This battle is between rich people. Rich people are just trying to fight to get richer. It has really, this Dems, Republicans, that's incidental. It means absolutely nothing. All of that is just laddering up on top. So
it's a like king of the hill.
It's a smoke screen. Right? And what I say to it is, because the reality is, you all have made money. You walk away with more money that you idiot liar, the George Santos or George Sands or whatever the name is. He's going to walk away multimillionaire from being a liar. So, you know what? It's all jokes here, but I'm not doing that.
Not a joke.
It's not a joke, but the joke is on us.
Yeah, the gag is that
they don't care about us. As long as we are fighting down here in the trenches against each other, they're doing their thing up there, having their little parties and get together. I mean, come on, how many pictures and stuff have y'all seen over many of the years? All of them, the Clintons, everybody behind the scenes, going to the same party and enjoying themselves. Then they pretend like they fight.
Yeah. And then they pretended like, because let's not forget, during the Warnock, remember the first time Warnock got in with Ossoff, we all broke our necks, flew down there, did everything to get them in. And then remember that Kelly Loeffler and then another senator had cashed all their money in with their stocks with COVID and all this kind of craziness. And but Dianne Feinstein was in on that too. Yes, and so nothing ever happened because the Dems had a senator, so we are not going to raise any dirt here. It was wrong.
It's wrong.
That should have been charged just because she dipped her toe into, they put Martha Stewart in jail for that stuff.
So did.
And it's like, so what Diane was too, at least they should have made her the old cow resign then. Well, we got nothing for it.
Protecting one another.
We get nothing. Period. Yes, thank you.
It's just like when I'm a firm believer in term limits. Well, you asking the people to vote against their own interest.
Never going to happen.
It's not going to happen.
Nope.
It'll never happen.
Let's cycle back to the farmers here. What needs to be done in this situation?
they have something. I put it on my Instagram, Jill Jones Music. There is a page to donate to. It is a Black-owned farm under attack. You can join in their fight to protect their farm. I'll send you the picture, and maybe you could post it on your, just for.
I
And
think
this I'm behind, because now remember, I started my real estate career in Colorado. And one of the things that I did not know until I moved into Colorado, because you always hear the South is always so prejudiced. But what I learned about Colorado and the KKK and all their little parades and stuff, these people are out to get, they're going to end up killing these people.
Yes.
You're saying to get their land. I said
Yeah.
it.
Okay.
You know, hanging nooses and doing things like that. This is, you know, everybody likes to think that the North is so above it all to not be racist, and they're not. It
That's
was
right.
just a very different, but these people need our help.
Yes, they do.
And, you know, we've been out there on Standing Rock and all these different with the indigenous tribes. These are people who they need help.
Yes.
And it's just wrong that the Black community is not even like really talking about it.
No, they're too
Not
busy
even
scary.
posting about it, blogging about it.
Yep. Yeah.
You know, we need that. We need them. You know, I'm sure they're like, oh, they were arrested. Oh my, you know, later. I don't really care. All I'm
It
saying
was
is,
false arrest
yeah,
anyway.
it was a false arrest. And so what?
It's
you know,
textbook. It's textbook. Let's look at history.
we know it. Right.
Everything is textbook. They're following the same pattern. It is up to us to disrupt that and stop it.
I mean, the worst part about revealing things in the past, you would think it would shame these.
Yep.
But what it does is it gives them more ideas to resurrect their own dead bones and go, that was a great idea. My ancestors did that. Let's do it again. Let's smoke them out. Let's burn them out. That's all. You know, we should be more shocked about letting white people even know anything about our history.
That's
because
true.
frankly, they use it against us.
They true.
Because I'm all about loose lips have been sinking our ships for too long. We need a private portal for our people alone.
Yep.
And it doesn't need to be online. It just needs to be a portal that we have.
Yeah,
that we've got to get away and step back from telling all our business out here on these streets.
Well, I think that hopefully there'll be some action in a positive way taken for these farmers, because yes, there's still a lot of Black farmers out there, believe it or not, and a lot. And it's another part of American history that has been covered.
And when the banks are against them, they never give them the loans. Their PPP money was shorted. What hasn't happened? If they start trying to grow something that the government doesn't want, or they're not, you know, or they're paid not to grow something. First of all, with the resources, the way they're coming down the pipeline, it's only a matter of time before every state is rethinking what they're growing. Because they won't be able to, because of lack of rainwater or too much rain or to whatever is going on,
or certain seeds.
But you know,
and it all boils down to certain seeds too. It's not just all that. If you don't use a certain seed,
exactly. And you know, the only thing I can say is God shook them up several months ago, letting us know, and you'll know that, you know, I have my issues with that too. Earthquakes happening and splitting in the middle of America. You know, there's some signs coming along the way, but we've got to stop with this helping the elites. And we got to stop shopping like maniacs. Take that sugar away from that baby that they rely on so much. Stop it. Make them grovel for your money. Make them beg you. Give me something. You know, stop. Do you really need to wear clown shoes? But you've got masterful, you know, and it's so sad to see the sellouts in the Black community. It is.
You know what? I think we should do just an episode on that.
Oh God!
I think we really, because, well, we'll bring it up at the outro. I want to bring up
people for getting up in the morning.
You know,
wearing a piece of go to
I'm gonna
being
bring
on
up
a boat with the guy from Twitter.
So we'll move on to the conversation topic. There's something I want to bring up, but I don't know if I know what I want to tease at the end, but I want to talk about it the next time we're on. Let's put it that way. And it involves entertainers too. So we'll move on to our next conversation piece. You see what you brought back, LaLa? You brought Feisty. Feisty Jill Jones is back.
Y'all know I'm post-celebrity. You know I am.
Well, okay, we're gone that. So next up, another interesting thing. Fox News hosts thought 45's election frauds were total BS. Court filing shows. Really? What a surprise.
It's not going to change anything because they done already drank the Kool-Aid. They all walk around zombies. They Trump, Hail Hitler Trump. Yes, I said it because that's how it goes. And they'll do anything to turn that around. That wasn't us. Somebody else said that. And all the idiots will go, okay, they lied.
Right.
Right. So there's a trial going on right now with Dominion, who was part of this accusation. It's so messy. It's so messy.
I mean, they risk losing all their voting credibility with their voting machines, right?
Yes.
Because they give machines globally. I mean, it's that's their thing, and other countries have even pulled it. Like, well, this was a Dominion machine. So you know, all these. If they think they're going to break Fox, I don't know.
It ain't gonna happen.
It ain't gonna happen.
But I'm reading. So I'm going to read the first 3 paragraphs of this story from The Guardian. Hosts at Fox News privately ridiculed 45's claims that 2020 election was stolen while simultaneously peddling the same lies on air, according to the court filings in a defamation lawsuit against the network. Right-wing personalities Tucker Carlson, Sean Hannity, and Laura Ingraham are among those named in the $1.6 billion action brought against Dominion Voting Systems, the seller of electronic voting hardware and software that is suing Fox News and the parent company Fox Corporation for maligning its reputation. Quote, he's acting like an insane person, unquote. Hannity allegedly wrote of 45 in weeks following the election as the host continued to push the so-called, quote, big lie, unquote, during his top-rated prime show, aided by a succession of election deniers he had on as guests. Even billionaire, we haven't heard your friend's name, and one of your friends in a long time, Jill. Even billionaire Fox owner Rupert Murdoch was dismissive of the former president's false allegations, the filing alleges, calling them, quote, really crazy stuff, unquote, in one memo to a Fox executive, and criticizing 45's scattergun approach of pursuing lawsuits in numerous states to try to overturn his defeat. It was very, quote, very hard to credibly claim foul everywhere, unquote, Murdoch wrote, adding in another note that 45's obsession with trying to prove fraud was, quote, terrible stuff damaging everybody, unquote.
I'm not surprised.
I don't even know if I need to read any more.
No, I can't believe that people are even like listening to old Dusty Murdoch. It's like, come on, y'all.
His mouth and dust come out.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, I think somebody has to follow him every day to stitch up, you know, a stitch just to keep the dust shit in.
Like like Jill, stop it. But so tell me, like, how can I think it just questions media in general, but especially Fox News. How can people watch this when this big, like, it's such
because they are used to kabuki theater.
Yeah,
they love it. These are the people that, oh, what kind of shows did they like? Like the worst shows ever. If you look at American TV and you've had things that literally make fun of Americans, Beavis and Butthead did, Family Guy, The American, it makes fun, The Simpsons, it makes fun of American stupidity, right?
Squid Billy.
And they are still on TV.
Well,
People
isn't
love
Simpsons the longest running show, or at least comedy
and
show?
They've tackled every subject and have been pretty much on point.
So Regina says here, so why didn't 45 have a problem with Dominion in 2016?
Yeah, exactly.
Of course.
right? And then she also says Murdoch could have ordered them to stop it. He didn't. True.
No,
And
he
what
didn't.
now? What that wouldn't serve him. You
No.
see,
That's right.
it wouldn't serve him.
Numbers.
And basically they wanted to keep, not give all their fans to Newsmax. And,
And the
it's so
advertising
interesting.
money.
Exactly.
advertising
And
money.
the advertising money. And that is the one area where we're all missing the point. It's ad dollars.
Money.
All of it. If you really want to go and kick anybody in the ass, it's your advertisers. They're
Yep.
the scummiest scum of all time.
Yep.
I mean, really, how can you look at an advertising executive and give them any kind of respect? They're disgusting liars. Them and lawyers together are the reason that the world is the way it is on a certain level. They lie about what's in front of you. That's their job.
Yep.
Let me reshape how they're seeing this and let me reword it. Let's not forget how many of them got people hooked on cigarettes, what they've done, and killed millions of people. These are advertising executives, are pretty human beings, and I'm sorry, I worked in the business, but I'm a human being for even being around them, because to be so stupid to not see where this was going to end up. But the minute that those PACs got together and the money was not being revealed where it's coming from, and then they started giving it to Madison Avenue, this is where the danger came. And that's how, Murdoch and all of them are in there getting that money. But like I said, they keep folks shopping. We've had calamities in America, and all our leaders have ever told us to do was, I know you're crying, but get out there and spend some money and go shopping, please. It was
Right.
after 9/11. I will never forget that disgusting concept. I've always found it repulsive. And we're in serfdom. We are living in literal serfdom. This is like a new medieval happening.
Well,
Okay.
we're seeing it right before our eyes, not only
Yeah.
with just that, but with the train derailments that are happening, all the poison that was done. People
Birds
just think
falling
that
from the
was
sky.
right. And so people are focusing on, okay, the train wreck. Oh my God. Oh, that's bad. But you forget that is now poisoning the land. And
Oh, yeah.
food comes from that land. Who's going to want to buy any of that?
Many echo groups are saying right now that it is America's Chernobyl.
Yes.
Because there's also another consideration that the GOP and their little cronies are behind these derailments. I posted something on a story. If you really want to see America's train tracks, child, it looks like somebody has a cane and and it's wiggling like this. It's so embarrassing. It is so embarrassing that this would be called an American train system. And I'm not trying to side with the Republicans on this, because like I said, all of them are full of shit, pitching, throwing when it's coming from their own. Because the reality is that Pete Buttigieg, I know you want to be a father, but so I wanted to be a father. Snap the out of it. I mean, you should have been on this about this EPA stuff and moving toxic waste through America. It was wrong. You missed the moment. The window was there. And I'm not going to be one of these who's a liberal who's going to defend you. You get paid too much for me to have to do the thinking for you and the rest of us.
All right, let's bring it back to this. So is this any sort of a story about, fraud claims and Fox? Nothing will ever happen of it? Do you think anything will happen from it?
No, nothing is ever.
They like it. They like it in their bored little lives. They give away their little average $20 every month to whoever they want to Donald Trump. And that is their life. They get their beer on the regular. They do it. You understand, this is some piggly wiggly this is stuff that is in place. And these are people that don't like change. And they are used to the consistency of them that they're sitting in too. It sort of is reciprocal. It's a real 69, the Fox News broadcast and their audience.
Yeah.
How do you say one is dirty without the audience?
Always are dense anyway. They've got their followers.
Yeah, Murdoch knew that. He knew that. How crazy that you have to say, wow, our you can't tell the truth to our audience. You
Yep.
know, that's like somebody deciding, I can't go out there and sing those songs. They don't
Mhm.
like it.
Right.
Okay.
That's
All
it.
right. So let's catch up here. Regina loves the line Kabuki Theater. She's also saying good Black Beauty saying good point, Regina and Jill. Regina says, I think it's less ads online viewers for revenue these days. Black Beauty saying good point that the ladies are bringing out. Black Beauty says, and as well, let's not forget the elites are far removed from being directly affected by derailments, etc. They've got bunkers, specially built housing, etc.,
I
etc.
know, because I've
Although
seen it.
but what's so interesting, they started to I don't know if you guys, I saw a documentary or something on PBS the other day in some area in New Zealand where some of the rich have bunkers.
Yes.
The bunkers are flooding.
Yep.
Oh wow!
And because of the sea level, they didn't take that into
No, they
account.
didn't take
I
that
was
into
laughing I was like, oh, y'all think y'all gonna fly in and hop into your bunker? Y'all gonna drown.
Yeah.
Oh my goodness! All right, let's go forward here. Next up, Roald Dahl books rewritten to remove language deemed offensive. To be honest, Jill, I didn't even know who this person was. So can you give some background on this individual?
Yeah, Willy Wonka.
Yeah.
Okay, there we go. Okay, thank you.
The books, the one with Miss Trunchbull. I mean, all of these wonderful books that he's written. But I think, when did he die? Like, he had made, obviously he'd made some changes to things, because in the original Willy Wonka, I think there were pygmies
Yes. Sure.
instead of the Oompa Loompas, and they were black pygmies. And there was a sort of a article that was saying that Willy Wonka decided to have the black pygmies there in the chocolate factory because they wouldn't sell his ideas. So in a really weird way, they were the most trustworthy because everybody else wasn't. So when that moved on, and the publishers at some point asked him to change that, he physically wrote it and rewrote it himself. I think that we've gotten into, and then the Oompa Loompas came to be. But I think what's happening with art and creativity, even though I may not like the concept of pygmies or, old Victorian books where they have the servant come in and he's, Indian, and he's, it was during colonial time, imperialism in India. I think we're missing the point of somebody who is an author or a composer. Sometimes you're taking things from different positions of character. And I really would have to say that people are so up now with reality TV, the fact that they think that that's reality.
Right, girl.
That they're going to go after, right, that they're going to, they don't know what third person, first person, second person, or writing from a different point of view. And it's really bad because they want all these things changed. So now they want Roald Dahl's books to remove fat and ugly. So it's like, the character, even Augustus Gloop in Willy Wonka, he can't be fat. But then if you look at it, it was one of the main motivating reasons why Augustus got in trouble, right? Because he ate so much, and then he got stuck in they have to move all of that because some people are saying that they're offended. It's
okay. So let's get down to the real nitty-gritty. Listen, everybody took the real reason for woke and have twisted it so much that they have put it back to their serving, that no one can have any character, no one can have any history, no one can be described in any way at all. We all have to be the Stepford wives. That's exactly how I see it.
As they do. They ruin every bit of jargon and slang when it comes along. I hate to say it, white people do jump in on it, and then they exploit it for their own things. It was the problem that Bell Hooks said was happening with Black feminism back in the 60s. There were issues that Angela Davis, Bell Hooks, and we have Toni Morrison that have always spoken from the point of view as Black women. And then you have the centrist white women come in and are like, well, what about us? And so they come in like the Alyssa Milanos and stuff and push the Me Too movement is a prime example. They pushed their stuff into the whole stew, and the shit ain't the same.
Their narrative.
Yes.
They do.
And they think they get it, but they don't get it.
No,
They're the perfect example of not understanding a thing.
Yeah, it's really frightening because one woman made a comment the other day that then there's this other narrative that's low key, that when they say woke, it's the substitute for the N word. So then there's that way that they'll say, oh, she's woke. Basically, that we know the cat calls, we know the dog whistles. So then there's that. And so you're sort of navigating through this terrain of coded language. And now,
which is being done on Congress floor. You've got Bobbitt. Absolutely. You've got all of them doing the same thing. There was a tweet today from Nitwit Bobbitt talking about, I will never be woke. Girl, you ain't nothing but a. So I don't know what you're talking about.
I mean, the amount of prostitutes in Congress, and now they've got it where you can't shame people. Can I just say something? Shame isn't a bad thing.
No.
Neither is guilt. Because sometimes if you get a society where people don't have it, where you don't have a little bit of shame and you're shameless, you're because that's what we're living in now.
There's no nothing.
There's no accountability.
That's right.
You have to have a little bit of in a status quo to say, I know you didn't just roll up and say that, but what's happening now, and people who are even saying they don't want the PC police, they're using it to their advantage by saying, I'll never be woke, but I'll never be truthful. You prostitute.
That's right.
But I can't say prostitute negatively anymore, because who wants to punch a man every day for money? Or somebody who wants to spread and have that going bang, 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 bang all day long. Is that fun?
In Congress?
That's a way to make a living? Okay. Wow, what a great society. You want to be all worn out? I'm sorry. Who are we kidding? Who the are we kidding? Okay, the exception of the freaky ones who say they love it. But for a whole, the whole total of our society, this is a recommendation? Oh, I'm going to be a sex worker. Is that what your city or state or country has aspired to think is okay?
Well, remember, people used to have some kind of, oh my goodness. I mean, not the people who was necessarily doing it. They would have some show, but the society as a whole would be like, oh my God, oh my God. But this is why Fox News ain't going nowhere neither, because ain't nobody got the oh my God anymore.
Right.
Now it's the norm.
So let me bring it back. So this whole thing about Mr. Dahl's books, you feel it's gone too extreme?
Yes.
Why?
Because you still have to have some context to things. You take away the context of things, you're like I said, you now become zombies. Listen, this also takes away imagination of our children. You understand? We put these babies on these stupid devices before they're 6 months old. They don't read a book. They don't understand imagination. So what are we raising? We're not raising people who can think for themselves.
Not at all.
Because they're too busy trying to be a TikTok star. This is dangerous on the most basic level, because now you've taken away any kind of imagination and descriptions for children.
So Black Beauty is saying, I'm loving the way the ladies are throwing down these topics tonight. Love the clarity. I know Aisha's spirit is here too. Yes, I believe that also. So Jill, why do you feel they've gone too far on Mr. Dahl's books?
Because it's censorship. And, if we haven't even passed legislation for hate speech in America.
Thank you.
So why are we going after what's in a book that parents, no matter what, always want something to babysit their kids with? The reality is, when you read books to your kids, first of all, and the truth is, ain't nobody really reading books. Let's just be straight up about that. Half of American kids can barely read, let alone even write. They only know how to text. The reading is becoming old-fashioned. It's not going to exist. But what they're doing is it's all verbal diarrhea. Yes. And it's always being fed. And when you can't look at something in writing, your critical thinking skills go away. when you go, wait, we just criticized this the other day, but yet this is censorship. And I was just upset about that the other day. And, that is, that's why we lost Roe versus Wade, because people weren't paying attention.
Okay. So here's my question then. Is there okay, so where are we? No censorship totally, some censorship, or full censorship? If you want some censorship, who makes a decision on what gets censored?
No, because Dr. Vibe, they're going to devalue the work of artists by doing these little stupid little moves. They get everybody all emotional about it. But what they're doing is devaluing copyright law.
Yeah.
And they're slowly, if you look at that lately, it's been eroded. Like, even for music, even for songs, the length of time, or, that's what they are doing. They're even now coming out where Mozart had a sister, and I'm convinced that he stole some of her songs. Because she was a woman and she wasn't allowed to. I don't give a about his sister. It's too bad. It's a nice tale, but they're eroding it, and they're really constructing, because everybody knows that the publishing houses right now control everything, and there's only a few of them, and they're trying to control more and more and more and more. And once they knock it down to devalue it, then they'll classify it where you could barely use it on this without paying for it. If
That's
you
right.
think that what we're starting to see with payment of Twitter and Facebook and everything else coming along, don't hold your breath, because in the future, if you want to speak a word, you're going to pay to do it, no matter what.
Mm-hmm.
And you won't be on this. You will be out of the system, and that's when people are going to lose their minds,
Because now they're addicted. People
because it's content. And my husband said something really interesting, like, what is all this about? Because the space that we're fighting for is also being automated and getting ready to be automated by artificial intelligence only. So what's happening is a battle for copyright and space. So going in and changing somebody's stuff, you can do, like reading Shakespeare, and you have your, what is it, the Cliff Notes. I'm fine with that.
Crib
but
notes.
if somebody's not alive to change their own, don't do it. Write another little book to, whatever. But
to do an explanation book or whatever.
Exactly.
But don't do that to those people. That's their artistry. And even you have to also take into account the time period of a lot of these things. Things were not like they are now, okay? But even that has a historical piece to it that causes more intellectual discussion. What is that? Because nobody knows how to do that anymore. So you even take away the debate.
You do. And I don't want to hear Willy Wonka going, yo, what's up, y'all?
No. I had enough when Johnny Depp did it. I was over it. And I like Johnny, but I was like, y'all messed all that up.
Movies, most people are getting their information from a movie anyway. And, ain't nobody really checking to read books. But I'm telling you, when they add new editions, they also get a new extension on the copyright.
They sure
for
do.
Whoever the copyright owners are, the family members, whatever. Mm-hmm. They are tampering with something, and they are extending some kind of ownership in doing that. I mean, look at the mess they've made out of the Bible, y'all.
Oh, I know.
They needed to leave it alone, because actually there is a scripture in the Bible that says, don't tamper with me. If you do, you're going to have to pay, basically. And I edited that. But it is a warning to those who mess with this, because truly it's like, no, they've been changing it so long that now they got all sorts of stuff saying where, Jesus said, go out and, buy those shoes if you use Louboutins if you want them.
Yeah.
And they believe it. That's what's really frightening, because people don't do much research on the origin of anything that they have.
No.
So,
and I wanted to bring this up because Christy, our writer for Jay and Gizmo, who writes these wonderful Indigenous children's books, she sent this to me, and I just opened it because I felt better.
Oh, that is so cool.
I love that.
This, and now with this,
oh my God,
it's beautiful, right? And it's beaded. It's all beads, and they're just beautiful. And she said, "Hi, Jill. Hope things with you and yours are well. We hope you enjoy wearing this as much as we did making it, Christy."
Oh my
God. So You know, The Adventures of Jay and Gizmo, she did this wonderful thing with, Jay and Gizmo. It's her book for young people. So I really wanted to know what she would have done. Nobody wants you. She's got a special knack for writing about her tribe and all of
Yeah.
this.
Her
Many of
people's lived experience.
our group here, the people who tune in, they know her.
Yeah.
So the whole point is, how would we feel having anybody change the special words, the special conversation?
Yeah.
There's a reason for it.
Yep.
And just because it's written that there was a black maid doesn't mean that you've got to read the book to see and look in context about the time and the era. I don't understand why people think reading a book is a one-stop shop. Reading a book is a journey into a world that's led me sometimes into going, oh, the Victorian age, how interesting.
Yeah.
Oh, the clothes, the shoes,
You couldn't get my nose out of a book. I'm
know.
so tickled now to have a book. My husband put a book in my Christmas stocking.
Oh,
and I
nice.
am just sitting there loving on it, touching the pages, because everything is so digital now, but it's something about opening and smelling that book and
I love
going on an adventure.
Okay, let me catch up here. Black Beauty saying, love it, LaLa. Also, Regina says, my co-teacher wanted to abolish our teaching of the TKMB, which is acronym of To Kill a Mockingbird, because it was too old-fashioned, but the parents pushed back.
Good.
It's a beautiful book, and it's just beautiful. So these are people who clearly are growing up without educated grandparents or people who were in the movement or, or they, I've found that young people tend to be, a lot of people are afraid of what they're going to uncover from the past in America, like their grandparents were racist or whatever. And I've told many people here that one of my grandparents was incredibly racist. It was one of the reasons why my mom and my dad were never together, really. Just the hate in some people's hearts. And so what's so sad, and yesterday was the day that, or is it today, FDR signed the bill that had Japanese people and Chinese people in internment camps.
Yes.
So we're in a really, it's interesting. We need to know these things, but do we anymore? Because people don't know what to do with it. But I told you, my young people tend to know when somebody is biased, and a lot of them have recovered from that, and we're like, yeah, my grandmother just racist, ignore her, and they move on.
It's interesting you mentioned that, and Black Beauty is saying, how beautiful, Jill, the native beating was simply gorgeous. It's beautiful.
It is.
It's beautiful.
Stunning.
Like, I mean,
yes,
it's absolutely,
it's stunning.
Yeah, absolutely. Cinema goes, Cinema Canela. Go ahead.
Yeah, I'm going to wear it to an event that I'm doing.
Yes, I can't wait to see people's reaction to that. That is going to be so amazing. Cinema Canal goes, the smell of a book, especially an old book, kind of tickles the brain.
Don't you guys love it when you have your bookmarks? I used to find the coolest bookmarks.
Oh my God, yes.
And oh my God, and each book I wanted to get a new bookmarker for it. Loved it.
Yeah,
and it was special to pick them out for people too. Like, I didn't just go in and buy a bookmark. Like, I would go in like, this fits Mama perfectly. It was it's just a whole magical world that they're trying to get rid of.
Look, I tell you, I love my books, and actually, I don't know if it's here. I don't have it. There is, or maybe I'll find another time. When people ask me, what started my journey doing all this, it was a book. It was a book called Black Men, Obsolete, Single, and Dangerous, the story of the African-American family.
Ooh, wow.
And the book I bought, where is it? Here it is. So if people want to say, when they say, Dr. Vibe, how did you get started on all this? It was this book.
Oh,
wow.
Black Men, Obsolete. So if I didn't, it may have started another way, but, and this book, I have it right on my desk. It doesn't go anywhere else. This book was written in 1990.
Oh, wow.
I bought it back in 1990.
Wow.
I
See,
still remember a few
this is
books.
what I'm saying. There's
So
there's so much.
it's interesting. It's interesting if they would let a book like this be published today.
Yeah,
Yes.
that's the thing. And that's why they're
Yes.
so precious to have. I
Right.
remember one of my childhood favorite books was about a cat, Sam Bangs and Moonshine. I love this book. And, you know,
Do you
I
still have it?
obviously, no, but I had it when I was once in New York. It came back into my life again when I was out at a thrift, we're looking at a garage sale, and I saw it and I had it. So yeah, I've moved around a lot and lost it, but those
Yeah,
books
too
stay
bad.
with you. And I remember one of my book reports
Absolutely.
about Clara Barton and
my gosh.
Florence Nightingale. For some reason, I really was fascinated with the nurses and the Red Cross. And
Oh wow.
but I still remember it. And so
I
when
l-
Steve Farnoli, that
yes, I know that name.
Prince's manager, he grew
Yes.
up in one of Clara Barton's houses in Rhode
Oh
Island.
wow.
So it's a weird tale that when he and I somehow were talking once, and he goes, "Oh yeah, I grew up. I don't know if you'll know her, Clara Barton." Clara Barton. Clara Barton. Oh my God, I wrote a book report about her in like 3rd grade. Yeah. So,
So Regina goes, my favorite books are filled with cake crumbs and chocolate finger pins. I
oh,
love
that's
that.
so lovely. That imagery. Oh my God.
But I
Yes.
think we also have to have a longer conversation about this whole area of censorship, because they're either going to be one way that it's hard. And I know people who are for censorship,
Yeah.
and other people say there should be none at all.
That's going to be a difficult conversation.
Yes. Yeah, absolutely. Nope, a book's coming.
This book is fabulous. It's stories about color.
Ooh.
Wow.
Red, white, black, and brown. And it's just a very intriguing, because color is the essence of a landscape, of a mood, of our whole perception. So discover the tantalizing true stories behind your favorite colors and how they came to be.
Wow.
You know, like, of course, with red, we know that's with the Beatles. That the, you know, it's very interesting stories. And then there's this one book. I'll be done in a second. This book is very cool. It's called Gastro Obscura. It's a food adventurer's guide.
Ooh.
And it has things like from Iceland, stories about foods, just different lunchbox delivery system, the dictators in Thailand, what they would have with their pad thai. So I love books, you know, passenger jet restaurant. So I love when books have like stories.
Yes.
It just connects me, you know, connects me. So yes,
Black
no,
Beauty.
I'm not into the censorship.
Black Beauty says, remember as kids, we had our weekly reader and we would read and discuss the articles. This helped us form our cognitive function and options.
Highlights magazine. I got
You know,
it.
Remember the book fairs that used to come around to the schools?
It's interesting. And you've mentioned in this conversation about young people and censorship and all that. So truth be told, a lot of the interns I have that help me with a lot of stuff are non-melanated.
Oh, yes.
And one of the first things I ask them before they come on board is, are you comfortable dealing with subjects from a melanated lens? They say no problem. And you know what all of them say? I've learned so much.
Oh, really?
That's good.
It's so good to hear, because this is stuff I wouldn't hear or don't know about, and it's a learning for me.
You know,
So,
Dr. Vibe, that's beautiful, because it's important that we start breaking some of the tropes that are in entertainment and around. And I know sometimes I get into my and all this stuff, and
You're kidding.
Yeah. But some of it, I look at my family and upbringing and my grandparents who were African American, and how important it was for them to own their house and their land and things like that, ownership, taking pride in those things, working really hard. My uncles, you know, really dedicating to family. I think that we've lost that for several generations. And, you know, and we often talk about, oh, we were targeted and they brought that into the neighborhood and they brought that. But one thing that, you know, we know, you still shouldn't, we can't keep letting somebody take away your integrity, your backbone, your love for your community, where you want to harm people in your own community. That's sick.
Yep.
It's
Yep.
sick.
Yes.
That's like then they win. They won. They played everybody. I just don't get it.
Well, some people would say people like that, melanated people who are like that are white supremacists.
But we even have people in our own doing us wrong and
But
dirty.
that's what I'm saying. Some people regard those people as white supremacists.
Yeah, because they gave up a long time ago on helping us to succeed.
Yes.
And it is it is something like when you're reading books, and I'm not saying we have to all be so militant about everything either. I believe it's important to learn everything. That's why the culture of the book with the food is from all over the world. It's not just isolated. And it's important to see that. It's so important for us, our children.
All right. Well, let's move. One last comment before we close off here. Regina says, I had an administrator tell me the students reading Raisin in the Sun together in class was passe and corny. I could not withhold my contempt for that woman.
Was she black or white? Or
Good
what was
question.
she?
That'd be a very interesting question. Regina, would love to get a follow-up on that question. We'll move on to the next comment. If you can type in was the lady who said that melanated or non-melanated.
Right.
What regardless, it's not a good answer, but
No,
I'd
because,
just be very, very, very interesting to see where that's
there's a
what
disturbing
lens
trend
coming
going
from.
on in California at the moment with Asian people attacking Mexican and immigrant vendors.
Yes.
Wow.
And professing
You're kidding.
patriotism.
Oh,
yes.
here we got our answer.
Yes. So there we have
go.
one of those.
The famous
She was
word,
black.
I am a patriot.
Yes. And it
She
didn't
was
surprise
black.
me.
She said
She
and
was
she
black.
was corny. Wow.
Well, I mean, nothing against Abbott Elementary, and I'm okay. I like the show, but I do wish the buffoonery of the principal would be balanced with something else, because we're not there yet that we're able to be comedy, or it's still just a modern day minstrel.
Yeah, but
for
okay.
me.
Final comment I'll make. It's unfortunate that too many people pay attention to people like us when we make them laugh or we entertain them.
Thank you.
One last comment. DJ, what was the gentleman? Is it Twitch? What's his name? Twitch.
Twitch.
The day before he passed away, well, not even that. A little while back before his passing, his suicide, he put out a post saying he's very upset and tired about black men being killed by the police. And a lot of his fans said, hey, we don't want to hear about this.
Just dance.
Oh, no, really?
Just dance.
Yes, just dance.
Just be the DJ, just dance.
So it goes, so it's a little bit off topic, but it goes back to that comment a number of years ago that non-melanated politician said to LeBron James, just shut up and dribble.
Right.
Stay in your lane. This is where you're supposed to be. So maybe the same thing with Mr. Dahl and his books and others. You stay in your lane. You don't go outside where we want you. We ain't gonna let you out of the cage, so to speak. So that's
if we don't, rather maybe stop looking for
validation.
Validation
but I think
through this. Just do it.
That's another thing. Yeah,
Just
that's another
take
thing.
your money and do it. Get together and walk up there when these farmers are being persecuted. Get together and everybody, like I said, get a new portal of communication and say, yo, are we all going to show up tomorrow? Yeah.
All right.
Because you look stronger like that.
Yes.
The next segment is dedicated totally to LaLa and her comeback.
What's wrong with these people?
Twitter to charge users to secure accounts via text message.
No.
LaLa, I'm going to sit back and I may have to get up and run. Go start us off.
Because here's my thing. I had an awful, just God awful hack about 2.5 years ago.
Mm-hmm.
And I had to fight. And I was blessed. I was blessed because someone had that happen to them that was also involved in social media. So they helped me get my thing back. Okay. Mm-hmm. But there are so many people that can't get it back. And what happens is they get hacked. People literally, I was so shocked. They dark webbed me. You understand? They dark webbed me. They took my videos, and made them say things that I did not say.
Right.
Okay. Now, you're going to take away the basic way of us being protected. Although, if you ask me, it's still really how we're being protected, but at least we have some protection because I have triple authorization on everything now. But now you're telling me I have to pay for this.
Mm-hmm.
When you're going to charge me for $8 on Twitter, and now Zuck the Buck wants to charge you $12.
Right.
So now I have to pay for my protection and to prove who I am when it's already flawed. No, sir. No, I'm not going for it. I will leave. I will leave. I'm not being seen anyway.
Right. I mean, my husband brought up the AI content that we're doing. So what's the point? Because now they're really showing you it's a smaller scale, but it should let people know what they're planning to do to us. They are going to root everybody out. If you don't have the money to pay every month, you will not be in the game.
Nope.
And granted, you can write it off because this is for your career, blah, blah, blah. You definitely utilize it for that. But what they're also doing is they're silencing the voices that they don't want to hear anymore.
Nope.
And so they might just all be sitting at home watching Fox News, and they might or some extreme progressives. They are silencing that. And I mean, there's a part of me that on a certain level doesn't find that as a bad thing. But there is another part of me that goes, oh, that's corporations that are really taking the tone, setting it ahead. And then at that point,
what's the point?
What's the point of even being on this advertising thing? That's like tuning in to watch a bunch of commercials every day. And I frankly just wouldn't do it.
Change what you are saying, which this has been shown to win elections in other countries, how they did this. And now you're telling me I have no protection at all and no way to fight back. Because let's face it, you can't call Twitter. Ain't nobody picking up the phone. You can't call Facebook. Ain't nobody picking up the phone. And you keep getting these same old
commando. Everything's commando.
Standards.
You said it. Everything's commando, LaLa.
We naked. We out here naked. And this is a dangerous thing because I was playing around with AI and I put my face in that AI and I saw what it did.
What did it do?
You can put a picture in and they make all these creations around your face.
I think I saw yours. I was too scared to do it because I feel like I don't know where all this data is going. I watched a documentary on PBS the other day about how our storage of data and refusal to delete all of our emails and things like that are really causing a lot of the global warming as well. Yes. Because if you go and look and see where these storage facilities are now carved into like caves and it's all heating up everywhere to stream, to go 5G, all of that. I mean, like trying to get into
it's not just you putting your here. Oh, this is my wheelhouse. I'm telling you.
I know.
You don't have to do it, Jill, honey.
No, I don't.
All you gotta do is go to your YouTube and go to your video and go, I need Jill to do this.
Exactly.
It's out.
And that goes back to the copyright thing. If anything, we need politicians who are going to get in on that, where you are able to copyright our own images and to own that. But there's no proprietary ownership on any of this because we are just leasing the machinery to do it. And if something went out tomorrow, you'd lose everything that you had, everything you had going. So there's an attachment. You could take down a whole country if it's attached to something. So I'm still an old paper girl, and that kind of stuff. But I could.
They can still do it with the history things. You see this thing called Photo Me or Photo Time, where you can take old photos.
Yes,
and I did it, and I had to stop because it scared the shit out of me.
I did it, but then I looked close in, girl. My eyes were like, God.
I know, but I did it
from
on
far
one of my
away. But I
photos.
was like,
I made the mistake of doing it on one of my mom's photos, and I was messed up for the rest of the day.
I know, and it'll blink, and they can, yeah.
So I just want some clarity here. So what is the not good aspect of Twitter to charge users to secure their accounts?
Because if you don't pay it, you don't get it. So you are instantly a target.
Yeah.
And you think that they're going to care? They're not even going to really care about the people who pay, and they just falsely letting them think that. But
I mean, I was paying before, guys. I was paying $4.
Yeah.
But this was before Elon Musk came on,
Right.
because I was getting information of specific things I could customize at what I, who,
and that's
what,
why
right?
I stopped paying. I had it too, Jim.
And
But
I
if you sit
stopped.
there and you look at that documentary called The Social Experiment or whatever.
Yeah,
Yeah,
that was
that- yeah.
disturbing.
That's some
It
scary
was.
stuff.
I mean, there is a point where we might have to all, and eventually I think people will be pushed away from it
Yes.
because they're not going to be able to afford it.
No.
And I knew this day was coming, that it will really be a demarcation.
You know, I'm
And in order to get it, you're going to have suffer through a lot of ads.
and I'm over that. I'm already
Okay.
paying YouTube because I don't want to see ads. But at some point, if you don't pay for it, or vice versa, and then you were saying the advertising dollars and all that stuff, guys, we're paying these streaming services. You're either going to pay or you're not going to pay. You're going to get screwed either way.
So true. It's terrible.
Wow.
We're in a
Wow.
real trick bag, because the gag is all the elites are doing right now is fighting over how they can make more money. Their corporations, their
If
children.
you don't
they're
think
this.
Leon and Zuck got together and talked about how this is what they were
Absolutely.
going to do, you must be on another planet.
All of them, you know?
Hmm.
The fact that we're sitting up here even looking at the fact that Hunter Biden and Donald Jr., those two morons, even are able to have that much money anyway.
I know.
Shocking. It's disgusting. And they go to each other. Tucker Carlson tried to reach Hunter Biden to get a approval for a college for his kid. I mean, yo.
Wow. Wow.
We are really in. I can't even say this anymore because we're way past it. You know, we used to say we're in dangerous times. No, baby. We are burning. And I told you that we was going to burn all the way down before anything could happen. You know, we look at these movies like, and these shows, like I'm like really into The Last of Us or whatever. But and it's because I'm like, oh my God, this is happening. Like this is no longer a joke. This is happening.
Because in a way, Hollywood is propaganda. There are, you know, remember Donald Rumsfeld? One of them, a few of these people were like executive producers. A few of the guys who worked with Trump were executive producers on films. So they were giving money to make certain films throughout history. Ronald Reagan had similar people in his cabinet.
All right.
And they feed you what you want to know from your algorithm. So it's deeper than that, Dr. Vibe. It's deeper.
Oh yeah, I noticed over the last week my algorithm on Instagram is now flooded with a lot of celebrities, and also there's posts that are 2 or 3 days old that I'm just seeing now. But I'm, you know, all of a sudden I'm getting posts from Queen Latifah. I don't subscribe to Queen Latifah.
I'm cat videos, so you know if you start getting a lot of cat videos.
That's you.
You know,
all
what's
right.
funny is now you can feed that. Now that I know this, hubby and I actually went in and start putting in weird stuff. Like just now, all of a sudden we get to trick the algorithm to see what we're seeing. We're getting weird things. For some reason, he's getting a lot of little people.
Yeah, like I just
they were just feeding them females, and he's like, "You not a guitar? You not a bass? You not
Well, that's never. You can never go wrong with a website.
I know.
For now. All right, let's end it off on a more looking back note, or looking forward note, or just thoughtful note. Jimmy Carter has entered hospice care at home.
This hurts my heart because he is a good man.
He's a good man.
This man was out there building Habitat for Humanity houses last week. Okay, he had cancer, went and got treatment, and was still out there working the field, working on to help people, do everything that he could possibly do.
He what did they say? He got the assignment And he got it
Oh,
right.
you got
I
it
don't
right.
really give. I've heard people say, "Oh, he was a terrible president." Really, I think Ronald Reagan was scum,
I do too.
scum, and he was a
And
horrible
he took a
actor.
lot of credit that Carter did.
Yeah,
Well, let's also, we can never forget, Ronald Reagan introduced trickle down economics, which
yeah,
never worked, and which is still probably a
scum.
root cause of some of the bad challenges economically America's having today.
Yes,
Go down
it
the
is because
good
of him.
road.
And the couldn't even remember when he checked out of here. That to
Nope.
me was not
But he was
justice.
oh so good.
Yeah.
He was a great president.
Yeah.
Yeah, okay.
He was scum. But that was part of that whole, all those Republicans together, and all just bad people in the world operating, people who were like stealing children from the Vatican. All these people were friends.
But Jimmy,
Jimmy.
even
But
when he was
Jimmy,
in
Good people.
office, and I'm neither party. I just said he was too good for America.
he was too good for America. Yeah.
Yeah.
I
And you know
just
what?
think
God has lifted him up.
Yes.
If people believe in their God has just showed them. They have lifted him up. And
Yes.
he has been walking the walk and talking the talk
for
and showing
years.
them
And it's
about
trickled down to
Christianity.
his
God
family.
is showing them, and they will deny it because they
Mhm.
are heathens. Heathens are running this show.
Yes.
There's more heathens in America than Christians.
Yes. Well, they're disguised as Christians.
They're Luciferian Christians.
Yes.
They belong to Lucifer.
You want to
And
see
they've been
how you
empowered.
walk the talk of Jesus? Because I always say that Jesus is my blueprint. He's more than just what y'all think he is. He's laid out every single thing that we should do. And it's simple. It's a simple blueprint. Look at Carter. He did it. He did it.
And
flawless.
and you know what? Interesting too. Since he's left the presidency, hasn't looked for the spotlight.
No.
Just does his thing. Just service. Black Beauty goes here. Yeah. Hearts for President Carter.
Yeah. I mean, I will always say that, if anything, when I look at Jimmy Carter, he restores my faith in Christ. Like, it makes me remember maybe there is something to this.
Yeah.
Because everybody else has dimmed my view on this religion that's been running rampant. I don't care how many ads they take out, these Hobby Lobby, and Jesus knows us and whatever. He knows y'all. That's why y'all going down.
Yep. So
Straight up.
Cover your tracks. But I guess I have a special place for him too. I never will forget, and this is my little Carter story because it just warms my heart, is I was in the Girl Scouts and we took, this was my first trip leaving Kentucky. We got to take a trip up to Washington. And, you get to take the tour of the White House. And we got to go in. And my man came in, not on the books, was just coming down the hall and saw us and came in to speak to us and had nothing but beautiful words to say for us. And it was just 3-4 minutes. But the fact that he took that time wasn't on his agenda for the day, and you could tell he generally meant everything that he said to us. That meant a lot to me. I think that's where my little politician heart got happy and born that day, because that's what I thought the presidency was supposed to be.
He was a good man. I mean, people had a lot of problems with what happened in Iran, but but that was all other people sidelining and undermining him. But what many people don't know is that the Gordys and Jimmy Carter are related.
Is that right?
Yes.
Wow.
I remember that there was either some family gathering at one point because of, I guess, slavery in Georgia or something back in the day, but they were related. And they all met, or he met, my stepfather was there with the other siblings. But yeah, they have a connection with Pop Gordy through the paternal side and Jimmy Carter's side of the family. And he really was a peanut farmer and his family and whatever. So yeah, that was always something. So he'll always have a special place in my heart, because that was one of the most unlikely things. I remembered when I was like, wow, one of the richest, wealthiest Black families that worked very hard to get in there. Here they are. And then there's the life of, Jimmy Carter and Rosalind and that whole thing, and peanut farmer. And they were from Georgia. And then I, hearing Pop Gordy, tell these stories of growing up in the South. It's
Wow.
incredible because there's one thing in Pop Gordy's book, which he had was paid, he'd saved enough money and $1,500 or something. And he did a job, and because he was doing contracting or something. And the white people were upset that he got the bid on working on someone's house, but he did such a great job with his son's help. No, the kids weren't even born yet. And so what he did was he had a brother, and Pop had told his brother, which was like, okay, when I go and pick up this check down at the Piggly Wiggly, wherever he had to go, he went and got on a bus and left town because it was so much money. And then he sent for his wife and then the young kids, because he knew having that much money in this town and playing, that white people were not pleased. And then that's how they ended up going to Detroit and moving
Isn't
to
that
Michigan.
something?
Yeah,
Wow.
Fascinating.
See, I love
book. That's a wonderful book too. Pop Gordy wrote a book.
Wow.
Learn things.
All
So Jimmy
right.
Carter, Godspeed, and bless you.
Yeah.
He was a remarkable and still here as a reminder for us to be our best selves, I think.
Yes.
All right. Well, that is another conversation done. I think for next week, there's one interesting things. What did I know back a few minutes ago? Let me see. There was we'll get to this in a future conversation.
Oh,
I hope you guys will get around to discussing Airbnbs, which account for 1 out of the 6 homes purchased for investments at some point.
But
LaLa,
can I say something very quickly? On my Facebook, on my Instagram page, I posted that Portugal just passed a law that they cannot be doing all this anymore. They do not want to be a Disneyland country.
Nope.
They passed a law where there will not be any, it will only be long-term
That's right.
rentals, not short-term.
Now they will let the people who have them now continue with those.
Right.
But there will be no new.
No. And I think that's going to be a chain reaction.
Yeah.
And another story that I think we should hopefully look at next week. Did anyone hear read a story recently about Mr. Idris Elba?
No.
He said in an interview that he doesn't want to be regarded as a black actor.
I did see that, but I didn't read it.
So we'll need to talk about that next week, because I know a lot of people that spoke to said they had some concerns about that. And I
guess it's kind of like when we're getting to the point where we make comments and go, oh, you see that guy over there? And you'll go, who? And you go, oh, the black man? And they'll be like, that's racist. And you're like, well, he is black. I mean, it's like, it's just maybe, I don't know. Maybe we don't want to.
Well, I think we need to chat about that. I think we need to chat. I think that they.
Yeah, I got to read about that.
Yeah, that he does, and then of course all the what's her name jumped in and supported him too. Oh, what's her name? Oh my gosh.
What's she look like?
She was dating that coach from Boston that got in that little scandal about, and what's her name?
Oh, the actress.
Who?
Is her name Nina?
No.
I know who she is. She's
Nia?
No.
She's an
actress. She was in The Best Man, and
I thought that was her name, Nia.
No. Nia Long. Nia
Long. That's it.
Yes.
Okay.
And a whole bunch of black actors in Hollywood back to say, yeah, he's right, and this and that. So I think that may be a conversation piece.
Because then the guy who said that he only wants parts that are supposed to go to white men, Michael, whatever it's obviously it's a trend, but they can tell you that that's who it's for. But it's
exactly.
I'm gonna just say something right now. I mean, they're lucky that they're getting the parts, because people like me don't get cast anymore.
All right.
And nor did we ever, because they never knew to make the mom white or the dad, whatever. So they're getting a lot of preferential treatment, in my opinion, the darker melanated ones right now. And it's time to put the brakes on it and give us all a shot. I'm tired of it, frankly.
All right. Before Jill rants, we're stopped. All right. So another conversation
Well,
is
I
gone.
mean, they can only, let's just get the violins out and these are collecting Oscars. I'm like, where's the problem? Okay. You know, and if you don't win, it's just a lot. And frankly, I
lot
don't
going
care
on.
about actors and celebrities anymore. I care about the farmers, the Black farmers, and people that are actually going through stuff. I don't care about a celebrity who's got a ton of money and they want to like whinge. I don't care.
All right. As I told you, we got to end out because Jill's ready to go for another role here. So I'm going to
full of
let it.
celebrities.
Okay. So she's back, and we got to say we're
Yay.
happy she's back. How can we get a hold of her?
You can find me at Realty Goddess on all platforms. Yes, I am a social media addict, but I might not be for too long. They keep on making
Yeah,
me
we'll see how long that lasts, eh?
Sure.
Yeah.
All right. Next up, Jill Jones.
I'm at Jill D. Jones on Twitter and Jill Jones Music on Instagram. You know?
Excellent. All right. And me, I don't know what I am anymore. Okay, here we go. So you can get a hold of me, Dr. Vibe, the DR, VIBESHOW.com. Email DR period, VIBE at the DR, VIBESHOW.com. YouTube, Facebook, and LinkedIn, The Dr. Vibe Show. Twitter at DR, VIBESHOW. And Instagram at The Dr. Vibe Show. So that is it. That's a wrap. One other thing we can put here. Would you like to promote your business or service on our show? Please contact me at dr period VIBE at the DR, VIBESHOW.com. And also you can catch replays. And a lot of people do, believe it or not, a lot of people do just period on the Dr. Vibe Show on YouTube, Facebook, and LinkedIn. Also on my website, the DR, VIBESHOW.com. So that's it, family. We is done. I'm going to put it out there too. I'm looking for someone who would like to come on the show one day and join us. There's some regulars that come on here. If you're up to it, we would love to have you come on the show and hang out with us and add to the epic conversations. Totally up to you. It's your call, but I'm just putting it out there. So that's it. That's it. And we haven't done an Ask Us Anything in a while either. So we got to get that in the mix too. But going to finish off here. Live your life as a dream. If you can dream it, you can make it. Sometimes you got to get smaller to get stronger. Block assumptions that aim bigger, aim better, aim higher, aim wider. Love, faith, and respect. Remember to give yourselves grace and don't just manage your time, manage your energy. And always, I'll close off here. You can subscribe to the Dr. Vibe Show on YouTube. If you do, subscribe, hit the notification bell to get notified about upcoming conversations. Like it on Facebook or anywhere else you're watching this. We appreciate it and don't take it for granted. God bless. Peace, well. Keep the faith. Walk good.